Hello, YouTube and Twitch. If you guys watching on Twitch, hello. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. If you're watching on YouTube, go over to my Twitch and follow me. If you're watching here on Twitch, go follow my YouTube. Links down below. Yeah. Anyways, here concludes the podcast stream. This is a very special podcast stream for YouTube and for Twitch. Now, this is a very nonchalant thing that I've never done in my life. So this is bear with me. It ain't gonna be too, grandiose. It ain't gonna be perfect, but you know, but we do have podcast topics that we could talk about here and there. So I'm really hoping that you guys could vice versa talk with me and actually agree or disagree or just bring along other topics. If you want to bring along other topics, I appreciate you. So yeah. Um. So let's get it going, right? All right. The special Purple Nova podcast starts now. All right, so tune in, enjoy. All right. So mainly, I was thinking, or me thinking, or the yarn ball thinking, or the ball just rolling. I think platforming is a very just fucking words. Man, very, very, very logistical form of like hard to get or hard to know or hard to learn or get the curves or any sort of like knowing how to do. I think for people who are barely new or relatively new to the platform, I think it should have at least like um learning elements of like adaptation of knowing how to do this at a get-go at first, but no one really does because I mean I didn't. So I don't think everyone's gonna know how to. And for the people who do know and they start out relatively small and then just grow within like a course of period of time, that's pretty fucking cool. I think platforming in a way it works. You need to network yourself with your peers and you need to network with others. Um, but not really too much because I feel like it hurts your your way of like segments of like platforming in a way where like you want to get reach from others, but at the same time you want to work on yourself because you can't just relatively just you know adjust or get adjusted with that you know way. And I think in a way where like you want to learn of like platforming would be best if you just straight out do whatever you need to do. And if you're gonna do any sort of content, I would say, take the leap. Like I've always said, it's it's the most scariest thing ever. But fear is always the thing that holds people back. And I think if you are relatively a person that has hyper focused, like admiration, dedication and everything that comes to known of like willing to just learn something new and to just want to just do it and have fun, go ahead. You know, I know like platforming is not an easy thing to do. I mean, a lot of people have the skills for it. A lot of people already have so much like work on it and they've done their homework on it, which I didn't do. I just started and I just had fun with it. I didn't really do any sort of, you know, what do you call it? Not homework, but like I didn't, I didn't look up anything on YouTube or anything on Twitch or anything on how to do this stuff. So I just learned by just watching people and just like seeing what they do and then put it on myself and then just put a basis on what I want to do on the platform. That's relatively like okay and that's fine. And I think if you want to learn how to platform yourself, I think have a solid ground of your branding, like if you have a good solid like flooring of like you wanna brand yourself on how to be this and how to be that, I think you revolve yourself with things that what you wanna do. Like say if it's gaming, um, do something that you really like do a game that you really enjoy and have fun with. Don't really exhaust the idea of having not fun with that game. But when it comes to too much, you know, into that, I think you just get literally, you know, perished and stuff like that. So just take take time. Don't let it toll you. I think in a way, any kind of platforming, like say if you want to do TikTok or Instagram or anything that has to be anything on a platform like Twitch, YouTube. There's Bibly, there's other areas where you could be in the platform, which I cannot name right now because that's a no-no. But for the ones that do know, um, you understand where I'm trying to say. Um, but a sense of networking of in those platforms, you relatively need to have a solid already ground because you can't just you can't really just grow something within 1 second and just have a solid base. So I think in a way of what I'm trying to say or I'm trying to tell you is that you need to have like a, a good solid ground, like a really strong hold, like say like a castle. They have a gate, right? They have a good fence gate so people then rate them. I think if you have that solid gate, can't really the 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 bad outcome can't really push into your castle, and then it can't really. So you have that good, strength in that gate, so they can't really, outcast you or anything like that. Um, in a way of like platforming and networking and all that stuff, you need to have like people who just come in here and just show your support, and then you show them support by doing vice versa. um and that's relatively how you just vice versa yourself into the any kind of content creator. um but it all works at the end at the same time, because if say you clip the channel or someone clips your channel and they put it out there on YouTube or they put it in any platform, that's how you grow and that's how you like set the worth of your channel, and that's how you brand out your stuff. I think in a way of like networking, your clipping and stuff like that um really grows you and makes you pop out from other streamers. And especially like if it's something that's relatively new and no one has done, I think in a way it really helps you grow, and especially like makes people see that, oh, this person is doing this, so I'm gonna like this and stay here. And then like, I mean, it's not good or bad, just saying that whatever you're doing is good and you're improving or you do something different, and people look at you and be like, damn, that's pretty good. I like that. So I'm gonna stay. So that's good. But it's also bad because then you let others not flow out with your other content. So say like um you do something different and you're like, well, I don't like this. So I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna look for someone else. So like say you're doing one specific game in the platform and you do it for say 3 4 years and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. I'm gonna stay here because this is where I like. And then you start doing something different that you're relatively uncomfortable with, and you're doing something new and trying these new areas and new methods, and people be like, this ain't what I've come here for. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go look for the same kind of content in some other area where that person is doing the same game or the same area in a different thing, but just differently. So that's when it's good and bad, and that's not when you have a good structure of your platform and stuff like that. So I think in a way, that really resonates with me because I can't really do um a lot. So yeah, I think in a good area of like the topic wise be like, oh yeah, you learn how to network and you learn how to platform yourself and you learn how to brand yourself. So that's that's a good solid like ground. But if you want to achieve more and you want to like get an escalator or ladder or stairs or whatever you want to do to like just put it in perspective. I'm gonna use the ladder tactic because I like the ladder tactic. It's more, I think it's more funny. um but you like you have that solid ground, right? You have that ladder, and then you have those steps where like say you have your platforming, your clipping brand, and then you have your uh what's it called? My brain is blanking out for 2 seconds. Like you have like these new ideas that you want to branch out for like everything else. So like if you have like all those other things, those new things that you want to work with, you could just easily pump them out because you already have a good solid ground and you already have a good steps of like platforming and networking, clipping, and all that stuff. So it's just like at the very end, like the very tippy top, or you get the very tippy top, or you get the end goal. Um, it helps you grow you from your platform, and that doesn't really hurt you in the long run, and you have a good structure, you have good ground, like I said. But yeah, I think that's mostly about platforming. But also like branding yourself, like say you're wholesome, you're say so, or like you're wholesome or you're lewdsome. Um, it all deprives with different areas. Say like you are a very person that just you're very mm, say not too much keen of the lewdsome, and you're you know branding just yourself as a say so streamer. There's outlook of other people where they are looking for that different other areas. So like say wholesome and say so, and or say so and lewdsome, or lewdsome and there's different areas. By meaning of what I'm saying of say so meaning like completely still have a good round of 18 plus content, but like at the same time like don't say like a lot of sexual innuendos, sexual uh, uh what do you call it? Uh, just like sexualizing content or anything sort of like in a way where it's not say so, stuff like that. But like you really brand yourself as this or that. In those areas, it's kind of could hurt negatively with your platform, especially when you want to do something different. Like for me, I think I was in this area where I was just choking myself because I was doing not to say so, but not too much of like lewd stuff. So in a way, it wasn't hurting myself, or it wasn't hurting my mental, or it wasn't hurting my brand, but in a way where I wanted to have different outlook in different areas, so I could get traction and I could get out there. Um, I changed and then revolve. You gotta involve with the. There's a lot of metas and just I hate saying that word. But the meta is like say like you're playing a game and you have this already set, stat or loadout, and you want to change it so you could play differently. You change it because then that thing that you change to is a new meta. So basically, you change from your old ways to your new way, and that new way become the new meta of anything else. And then the people who look at you or like have source of content and they know that you're doing this new thing, they already say, "Oh, this is interesting. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna get more reach and you get more platforming." So it's relatively hard to know what you want to do, or you want to do, or what you want to reach, or what kind of, you know, what kind of, you know, like outlook or any type of like average viewer you want to have come into your stream and be like, "Oh, this is a good stream. This is a good solid base. This is what I was looking for." Um, yeah, I think relatively well that that's how you work in a good state of mind of platforming and networking and branding yourself. Um, metas. Oh man, metas are metas are out there. There's a good meta of like doing something, and then you have a good solid meta, but at the same time it hurts. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying it does hurt in the long run because then at the same time a lot of people try to copy that meta and then twist it around, or they do something relatively uh new. And I think in a way of just knowing what you want to consider of doing in your meta, you you have a solid base and you already know what you're doing. So it's just like you just knock it out of the park, and there's not hurting yourself or not hurting your average viewers or your peers. Um, but also you have a solid ground of like other people to raid your structure of like platform stuff like that. But it's like what 10% chance that that happens. I mean, but it's content. A lot of people are gonna get a grasp of something that you're not doing and twist it around, or if you're doing something really good and they're like, "Oh my god, this is pretty good. I'm gonna copy that and I'm just gonna do my own thing." So it's it's a it's one of those things. And man, my brain is just like, oh, I've been holding that back for a good solid year. It's man, I haven't talked about it for a while. It's just like knowing regularly, knowing that stuff like that really hurts as a streamer and it hurts as a content creator and stuff like that. But that's why we have these podcasts, because not a lot of people talk about them, and I feel like, or they do or they don't, uh they don't really have too well of like a good solid base on what they want to do or they want to say on here. Not really afraid because at the same time, like, it's an opinion. It's not really factual. I think my opinions do matter because a lot of people, might agree or might disagree, and that's totally fine. I think in a way of like, there's people will probably get a good grasp about it and probably learn from it and probably get a good you know kick about it. That's good. um huh, kick. That's funny. I was talking about platforming and I forgot about kick. I forgot that that was a thing. um Talking about kick, I was gonna stream on there last year, 2 months before the year ended, before I took like a small break from streaming, um, or hiatus as people say it. I don't like saying that. That's weird. Um, for me, I don't really, I'm not really keen of, on that stuff. I'm not really big to say that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I hate it. Just don't like it. I dislike it. Uh, but that's just me. It's just my opinion. But yeah, I took two month hiatus. There was, you know, stuff. But let's not talk about that. But the hiatus, a lot of people take hiatus with a grain of salt because they either something happens in the background and they have to take a year off, or 2 months off, 4 months, 6 months. It all depends. Um, but it's it's rather good to take a month or 2 weeks off and then come back like exploding with new content and new ideas and stuff like that, because it really helps you, because you really gather, different ideas and thoughts as to what you want to do as a content creator or streamer. I think in a way of, you know taking this break, it really helps you um a lot. But also it hurts your platform, it hurts your brand, because then you're like, oh, I took a break, now I need to come back, but what do I do? So you really need to think it through, but at the same time it hurts you mentally and physically. And well, I don't know how physically, but I'm just saying, just in case a lot of people, physically and mentally is just, a big direction of content creation. Physically meaning like brain hurting. Oh, get that juju voice of like, oh, the angel saying no, don't do it, but the devil's like, do it. It's a vice versa. When it comes to consecration, you do have the little angel and the little devil be like, you gotta stream. That's the devil saying, and then the angel be like, hey, you know, you know what I mean. But yeah. Um. So yeah, I think in a way of consecration, it's a big area to like step in and have a very intermittent like fear of doing it. I think a lot of people who've done it have done it for a year, and then they don't do it no more. They got a lot of it. They got memories, good stuff, good, bad. There's even ugly things that comes out of platforming yourself on this, on on everything. But we don't talk about that, because that's another segment of like not to talk, because that's just not good. Not how I roll. That's not how the yarn ball rolls. Eh? For the ones that are OGs and know that, thank you. Sorry, I had saliva stuck in my mouth. Okay, let me drink water. Is it like your host is dying? Oh no. No, don't worry. I have 9 lives. I will never die. Prosper will live. But yeah, I think a good segment of like just taking knowledge of what I said today. I'm really hoping that someone does learn from this and get thoughts, facts checked in. Um, Not really saying that I'm any factual or anything like that. I'm just saying opinions and topics that I just want to get in touch based on, because it's like from what I've seen and what I've done, um, really helps me talk about it, because I could express my my whole like path, my whole area, my whole, you know journey on this platform. And I think, sometimes you gotta turn the sheet and start new. Um, but I think a lot a lot has been done. A lot has been said. A lot has been on on this platform, to the point where like I've learned a lot. But that's fine, because what you learn and you take into consideration for your platform. You take it as a goodwill, and you learn and you adapt, and that's how you get better, and that's how you start doing different things for yourself and different stuff that you learn. Because like if you take this necessity of a tool and break it apart, and then you actually do something good out of it, um it's that's how you know that you're doing good. um because everything is like in consideration, like B2B content creation, platforming, branding. It's just a tool to like get out there and start doing anything. You know, for me, I think it's not just tool. I've said it before. For me, it's just a way of like expressing myself and expressing a way of good things, and knowing that I want to do this not for so long, and to the point where like I want to continue trying to spread you know good stuff, uh spread um positive mindset and actual like good topics, to the point where like we can just talk about it for days and just have different areas and stuff like that. um Maybe bring along a special appearance, and maybe that's later down the road. But I don't want to make a commitment to the point where like it doesn't happen. And that is a good, that's just one of the few things of branding, is like you say something and you take into consideration, and you don't have that commitment. You don't take it as a full grain of salt or a grain of and you just don't really do nothing with it. Just scrap it and just do something else, which is good. um I think if it goes good or bad, either way. For me, in my perspective, I think you should really diverse in different areas, and really think what you're doing, knowing what you're doing. Well, you're not gonna know what you're gonna be doing because you're new to it, but you start learning from it. So I would say do the do the research, because it does matter, especially on this platform. Um, do a lot of stuff before anything. I highly implore to do a lot of research on how to become a good streamer, a good VTuber, a good YouTuber, or anything on any other platform, so you could have a good solid base of content creation. So yeah, that's my good outlook for you guys. Now I know at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. You might have struggles here and there, a few cracks in your path, but it's what you learn. You patch it up, you learn, and that's a good solid base of platforming and networking in a way. Um, a good branding idea would be, you know, do a solid base of what you want to do for your YouTube or Twitch or whatever platform you're doing. Um, Say you do funny moments, funny hahas, jokes, clips, uh, you know, cosplays. I don't know. There's just a lot of good things that you could do on a platform that you could just do as a brand. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm out of chitter chattering because my brain is just dead. But yeah, I think my brain is no longer working. My brain is like, oh, no more, no more talking, no more talking. Just stop. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment of the podcast. Now I know it was not really long, but don't really have much to say no more. um, I just had those thoughts in back in my mind. I just had it to say them. It is what it is. At the end of the day, um, what I was gonna say, forgot. Um, but yeah, thank you all for being here and hearing me out and tuning in for the podcast. It was a very special one. I appreciate you. Um, this is gonna be on YouTube and on Twitch, so don't worry if you missed out on the podcast or the special podcast. Gonna be on YouTube. Ain't gonna be a part of the PurrpleNova. It's just gonna be, you know, something like a special. Maybe, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll probably put it on the Purple Nova. Um, but it is good topics that I wanted to just spew out and want to talk about because I've seen a lot of I've been seeing a lot of things here and there that you know be constantly struggling and also like others struggling. So I want to talk about it and probably just have a wide diverse of like people out there. A good a good talk. Be like, hey, you're doing good, but you could do better. That goes for me too. Like I know I'm doing good, but I know I could do something better, and I could achieve that better by doing what I've said and just put myself together and actually do it and not be lazy and actually not do it. So yeah. Um, into in consideration, thank you. I appreciate you, everyone, to listening to me rambling, ranting about something that's probably already talked about. But yeah, thank you. Arigato, everyone. And that would be it. Thank you. For the ones that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. For the ones that are watching on Twitch, please follow. I appreciate you. That would really help me and help me reach out there and the viverse of so many VTubers out there. Oh, there's so many. So yeah, this concludes the special Purple Nova podcast at the end. As always, thank you for lurking, for loving this my content, and for you know even tuning in and hearing me out again. Um, as always, I'm Aris QT. I'm the special host of this podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next video.